Animal is breathing. We've got somebody monitoring respiration. They can actually see the head right there. So respiration is normal. It's not elevated, which is a good thing. You know, many people think when it's not breathing often, it's a problem, but respiration is good at this time.
And Nadia, can you tell us how long do you think it will be before the animal is extracted?
That's a good question. I do not know how long it will be before the animal is extracted, but they're working diligently to make it happen.
Jack Zoo vet is here on the scene. Are they going to evaluate and before it's handed over to SeaWorld?
Yeah, so what's really nice is we got a Jacksonville Zoo and Gardens vet here because the drive is 2.5 hours. It'll be nice to have him along. We've got oxygen that will be able to be administered to the animal as well, so he can assess. He'll talk directly to SeaWorld vets. It's actually SeaWorld that will be caring for this animal, though.
Earlier, we saw them spraying the water down there. I know they said that some of it was for cutting the pipe, but is that also to keep the manatee wet?
That's for the pipe. The manatee has plenty of water down here. The manatee is able to completely submerge right now. However, with the cutting that's being done, water is leaving the pipe, so they have the fire hydrant down at the other end is filling it, but it's such a big system and it takes so long. That's why they've already started filling it, and water's going down, not up, because we want to be able to float the animal back to this area.
Spoke earlier about
Alrighty, guys, and just as you heard FWC say, there's not much longer. They're not exactly sure how long it's going to be before the manatee is extracted, but guys, as you can see, the process is ongoing. You can always go to our Facebook. We have this up live there where you can watch the exact extraction of this manatee from the hole here on Da Vinci Avenue in Ortega. Jeannie, we'll send it back over to you now. Sure. Yeah. Hey, Mike. All right, I'm going to have my photographer kind of show us a little bit. They want to see where it is. So I need you to move the camera for me. Guys, I don't know if you can see us, but the hole is here. We're going to be a little shaky, but the hole is here. And if you look, you see the storm drain pipe down here, right by that green stretcher there. That's where the tail is. And right on the other side, you see those 3 people standing around that hole. The head is there. They can actually see the head of the manatee there. And that's how they are aware of these scratches and scrapes on its nose. So they have a sight on it. They can actually see it. Now, what they'll have to do is once they get the pipe cut here, Mike, turn back here for me, they'll have to get the manatee to swim backwards to this area so that they can safely pull it out. So that's what they're dealing with here. Absolutely. Sure. Well, right now the manatee is still alive, and they're saying that they are very hopeful that they will be able to extract it alive. It doesn't appear to have any serious injuries at this hour, so crews are saying that they hope that this will be the first time that they actually extract a live manatee from this area. And I tell you, FWC says a couple of years ago they did extract a calf manatee. It was a baby, but it was already dead, and that happened a couple of blocks from here. But this would be their first live extraction of a manatee in the Ortega neighborhood. So they are definitely working very hard to make this happen. And as you can see, JFRD, kudos to these guys. They have not stopped trying to get this manatee out of the storm drain. It's incredible. And all the people out here are just calling them heroes, not for what they do on a daily basis, but things like this as well, when they really do put in the effort to make sure that things like this turn out good for everyone. Right, and I did ask them about that. They said that the city says there are 2 ways for the manatee to have gotten here. They're not sure just yet which way it took. I'm sure that's going to be something that they look into in the future. Right now, all of their attention and their focus is on getting this manatee out of the storm drain alive. So I'm sure that's something that will come up in the future, and that's definitely a question that needs to be answered. Yes. It's not. Well, she said it's going to be a challenge. I'm not sure if they're really going to tell us how they're going to do it, and I don't know if they know how they're going to get it to go backwards, but it is going to be interesting to see. Jeannie, right quick, right now what they're doing is they're trying to get the top of the pipe off right now, as you can see, and everybody stepped back, and they're telling everyone to get off of the fence here because they said if this chain breaks, it will fly probably in our direction where we're standing right now. So for safety reasons, we have backed up, but you can see right now they're using, they're pulling the pipe off right now to get more access to the manatee. But like if, look at that. Yeah, so it's coming off right now. There you go. You can see it here. People are, that's the pipe. That's the pipe. People are cheering and clapping. That's the pipe. Yes, that's the top of the pipe. What they did was just cut the top of the pipe off, and then what they'll do, there's a stretcher, a green stretcher here that's stuck out of the ground. I don't know if you guys saw it earlier. That's preventing the manatee from going anywhere. It's stopping it in its tracks. And what they're going to do is use that to stick it down in the pipe and pull the manatee up with that stretcher. As you can see, the crews are going back in now. They've successfully pulled the top of the pipe off, and it's taken them several hours. We're all moving back towards the gate now. Crew's telling us we can all come back now. Everybody ran up so we can look in.
It's only phase 1.
And you can hear people are cheering. They have not gotten to the manatee just yet. We'll still have to see if they can get him to swim backwards to this area where we are.
Oh yeah. And then they're gonna
This is your side, that side. That's right. This is the head or the tail? The side, left and right. Okay, gotcha.
Right. This is not something you see every day, Jeannie. Right. This is certainly not something you see every day. So now they, as you can see, they're bringing in this stretcher or gurney apparatus here that they're going to use to get the manatee to go onto that. They'll pull it out of the hole here with that apparatus that you see all these guys holding, and our vantage points are about the same, guys, so I'm seeing exactly what you guys are seeing in studio. Say that again, I'm sorry. Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. The construction worker I spoke with that actually found it, she said that it looked to be about 800, 900 pounds. So this is a big manatee stuck here. From what she said, we have not been able to visually see it ourselves. So that's coming from the construction worker that found it this morning. So yes, of course, heavy equipment will be needed. I don't think the humans here would be able to pull that out of this hole. It will definitely take some machinery to get that done. And now how long it will take to actually extract it, I'm not sure.
This is dying. I got to get another one. What's that? All the way through here, right now. Where do I need to take 1 second? Where will be
a good place.
No, we're not going to put somebody in. Ask them ready. We're not doing it.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Nice and slow, nice and slow, please.
They just took the pipe off.
So we take her to Orlando? What she said? For the SeaWorld?
Or she?
Piper. Piper's a good name.
Even though you're from Alabama. Right, and that's something I know you said he or she. A lot of people out here are wondering what exactly the manatee is, a boy or girl. But the water temperature is a concern for crews here. But like they said, their main focus right now is to get it out of the storm drain and then worry about rehabilitating it or stabilizing it as soon as it's out. But there are several crews here, several people here hoping to help get it stabilized. And guys, there's some kids that just showed up with I'm going to pull the camera up just a little bit so you guys can see. There's some kids right across the street who have came with the sign. Can you guys see them right over the way there? It just says "Save the Manatee." A lot of people. Can you see it? It says "Save the Manatee." School is out, so all the kids are coming over now to get a look at this, because this is just not something you see in your neighborhood every day. But we're all hopeful that the manatee, if it survived this long, and they are not sure how long it's been in the pipe, guys. It was just found this morning, but if it survived this long, we're hoping it can hold on a little bit longer so crews can safely get it out.
What do you want to do when we're coming? We can't see y'all. So was that you on top of here? As soon as we get to you, pull that front across and got it. We just don't want him to keep going out the back. Hang on to the I would rather have the tail go off that end than the lower end. Yeah, sure. Okay? I don't want to stop the tail. I want the head inside of it. Yeah, I did a bucket with the tail. Hey,
Are we going to start?
Hang on. If he tries to go back in there, then we can. Hey, watch your head, Carl.
Stand by.
Yeah.
90 seconds.
Swing it on around again.
And Jeannie, what we're hearing now, I'm sorry, I know you asked a question, but I just want to give you a quick update. They're saying that they're about to try to get the manatee to come backwards towards where we are now by shooing it. So I don't know if they're going to try to scare it or put something down there to push it back. Then they're going to immediately put it on this apparatus here, stretcher here, and tie a rope around it so that it doesn't fall off, and to quickly lift it up. So that's what's going on right now.
And Brittany, tell us a little bit
now. And they're getting ready to do that.
And once that they are able to lift him up on this hoist and this stretcher apparatus, as you've been describing, as we're seeing right now in front of us, we can't see past that. So can you describe to us where it goes next? What kind of vehicle takes a manatee from Ortega down to Orlando?
Say that again. I cannot hear you.
That's
that
okay.
well.
I know you're in a noisy situation, but it looks like they're making great progress. What sort of vehicle is prepared to take this manatee from Ortega down to Orlando?
Yeah, it's a regular. It looks like a small moving van. Actually, it has a manatee on it. I wish I could show you guys, but we want to make sure we keep our camera locked down so you can see once they bring the manatee up. But it's the truck looks like a small moving van, and it has Manatee Rescue on it with a picture of a manatee. And it's not very large, but it's not small either. Just think of a small moving van.
So it's not just an ordinary vehicle. It is
and
equipped
that appears
and ready.
to be what they're going. Yes, and it's very close by, so they would actually, it looks like they would actually have to pull it up and walk it a couple of feet over to this van that's waiting nearby. So that is waiting to transport the manatee to Orlando.
And speaking of transport,
and I know people have been tweeting me and asking me. Yeah, people have been tweeting me and asking me, why is it going to SeaWorld? Why aren't they releasing it? That is the plan, for them to release it back into the wild once SeaWorld has had the opportunity to rehabilitate it and stabilize it. So people are getting a little upset about that, but SeaWorld is stepping in to actually help here, from what we're being told by FWC.
And Brittany, I apologize if I've talked over you a couple of times. Sometimes the audio goes in and out and I can't hear you. So I'm very interested in what you're telling us. And I wanted to add, too, about the manatees. We're talking about transporting them, of course, by vehicle. But just in case you're curious a little bit, maybe you're watching with your children, using this as a learning lesson. Manatees are typically in Florida's coastal waters during the wintertime, but they have been known to migrate quite a ways. They can go as far north as the Carolinas, west in the summer to Louisiana, and they've even been spotted as far north as Cape Cod, Massachusetts in the last couple of years. So they can be travelers. And we were talking as well that right now this manatee, we heard from the Florida Wildlife Commission, has plenty of water. It's submerged, but they have a fire hydrant ready if they need to get more water to it. So we're going to take a we're not going to take a short break. We're going to have a quick break here because we want to. Our producers are telling me something, folks, and I'm trying to understand what they're saying. Okay, let me just tell you what's going on here. The batteries on our cameras on our live location need to be changed out. I mean, we've been running now for a couple of hours now, so they're going to work there where Brittany is and Mike, and they're going to change out the batteries and make sure that we don't lose the pictures, because we definitely want to see this live when this manatee comes out, hopefully alive and doing very well. But meantime, let me just tell you a little bit about, you could read the graphics, of course, on the screen yourself, but this is interesting. I remember going through the museums when I first moved here, and I thought, wow, this is cool. Actually, manatees are relatives of the elephant. They nurse their young. They're mammals. They play a very important role in plant growth because they are so large. If they were pulled ever out of the ecosystem, I've had marine biologists tell me it would be a major detriment to Florida's coastal areas. As we were saying earlier, by best count, they think the population is about 6,000. And as we're talking about, they like to be in a little bit warmer waters. I don't know if 68 degrees sounds warm to you or not, but they really don't like to be in waters below 68 degrees. And as we've been saying, where this manatee is right now, off of Da Vinci Avenue in Ortega, the water's a little bit cold. Now, they have not used the word serious distress, but they said they are noticing some signs that this manatee is not in the ideal water temperature. It's a little bit too cold for the manatee, but they're ready and prepared to do whatever they need to keep him healthy and moving along. So what you're not seeing right now, but we're going to get back to just as soon as we can change out that battery, is they have now pulled off the top half of the pipe. The JFRD has done a great job extricating or cutting off this huge culvert pipe, and they've lifted it out, and they have gotten that off of him. So now they have to figure out, how do they get the manatee to kind of go backwards, and they will gently tie ropes around him and then use some sort of heavy-duty lifting hoist equipment and pull him out. And as Brittany was just telling you, there is a manatee rescue vehicle there ready for him to go down to Orlando. And it's not just Florida Wildlife Commission experts. There is a veterinarian there from the Jacksonville Zoo, and that person is heading in his expertise to the situation as well. But this all started, in case you're just joining us, going, man, this must be a big deal. It is to a lot of people, because for one thing, it's just moving, seeing guys who work day to day to save our lives around town, working the very best they can to rescue this manatee. We don't really know how long he's been stuck in this storm culvert, but a woman was there on a paving crew. They were laying down some pavement right before noon, and she saw him in the water. They were back live right now, floating in a drain, and called for help right away. That drain right there, in fact, you see that? There's the grate. She looked down and saw this part of the manatee, and that would be the part of him they're trying to push down toward the bigger opening, which will be to the left on your screen. And she called for help, and people came right away to try to help save. We still don't know, for some reason, whether it's a boy or a girl. I guess it's hard to tell. I mean, I honestly don't know how you identify the gender of a manatee, but maybe they just can't tell at this moment. So we'll just say this boy or girl manatee. And as we're saying, there are more than 1 million people reached by the story right now. We're getting comments from all over the country. People who don't even know what a manatee is are pulling for this guy or gal to get rescued. And we're also seeing comments, and right behind where you can't see at the moment, but there are people in lawn chairs standing up. And when they lifted that drain off of him, people were cheering. See, this thing, the adults and the children there, they are never going to forget this. And I bet when they go back to class, they're going to be writing lots of reports on manatees. And we've seen all kinds of names. Maybe you'd like to see if you can name this fellow or a little girl. I've seen kind of fun names too coming up on social media. So if you have an idea, go onto our Facebook First Coast News page. Hashtag Save Piper DeVille. I've seen.
But they're actually trying to pull it back now.
So Brittany, go ahead. Tell us what we're seeing. If you take a look now,
they are working to pull it back with a rope here. Jeannie, take a look in. You hear they're yelling for the workers to go easy because they kind of started pulling on it like tug of war here, but they're slowing down and doing it a little bit easier.
Hey, Brittany,
and they're trying to pull it back now.
Let's just listen in for a second.
This is the moment everyone is. Say that again, Jeannie.
It might be kind of interesting for a minute just to listen into what they're saying, maybe.
Yeah, well, what it looks like they were, I don't know if you were tuned in a little bit earlier, but they just went down in the storm drain, and a guy popped out really quickly, jumped out of the storm drain, and then they started pulling on this rope. If you see the guy here with the red suspenders on, they're just pulling it back now. So it appears it would not swim back on its own, so they had to tie something to it to get it to back up. So that's what we're looking at now as they're pulling the manatee back into this large hole where they took the pipe off the top of the pipe off. And you can see the crews now, Jeannie. Hopefully, can you see this, Jeannie?
I don't see the manatee, but I'm trying hard here.
He's not out yet. He's not out just yet.
Any part of him at all right now.
But they're definitely. Yeah, what they did, they went down in the storm drain and they tied this rope to it. So they're using the rope to pull it back this way because obviously, like we were talking about earlier, it's not in their nature to swim backwards. So they're having to give it a little bit of help here to get it back into this hole to the gurney here or the stretcher here to be able to pull it out.
Brittany, we've been told this manatee is 9 feet long. So if you look at your floor to your ceiling, in most houses, that's about 9 feet tall. So that gives you an idea how large this guy or gal is. And yes, we were talking earlier that people are calling Piper DeVille, also just plain Piper. On our social media, people just want to call Piper.
No, some people here said it needs to be called Da Vinci because it's on Da Vinci Avenue. And now one lady next to me said, no, the name is Piper. So it's a little bit of a debate going on over here about what to name it, as well as trying to figure out if it's a girl or a boy. So we have Piper right now and we have Da Vinci.
Yeah, there you
Whichever
go.
one.
The kid's named Venetia.
Yeah.
Now I see there we have, tell us a little bit.
That's what everyone's talking about.
Okay. Now, just to reorientate people again, tell us where the tail is and the head of the manatee.
Say that one more time for me, Tari.
They have the tail is near them, so it will be coming out of your tail first.
Yeah, it's so hard. I want to confirm.
We don't see it just yet, but it will come out of this whole tail first.
And you were saying they're estimating that it could be 800, 900 pounds. I mean, they're not, when they're babies, they're 60, 70 pounds, 3 or 4 feet long, but now you're talking almost 1,000 pounds. They're huge. We know that. They're big animals. Now there's a
absolutely,
good view.
and that 900 pound came from the construction worker that saw it this morning. That did not come from FWC or JFRD, but she says she estimated that it's about 900 pounds. And as you can see here, I think it's coming out. I think they're finally. I think they have the tail there. So we have a very good vantage point here, guys. So we will see it as soon as it comes out of the hole here. They're not pulling on that rope anymore. So maybe it's sliding out on its own, but you got to think it's stuck in there. It is stuck in there, so they are having to give it some help to get it out.
What kinds of comments are you hearing them say? What are they talking about down there?
It's kind of like you ever seen someone row a boat and they say row, they're saying pull, then they say stop pulling, don't pull so hard. So they're kind of instructing each other. They're all on one accord. They are certainly working as a team to try to get it out. You can see some guys are pulling, some are digging around the side. Everyone has just jumped in to try to help, but it's definitely a team effort. So they're being very careful about this as well, guys, because they don't want to injure it any more than it's already been injured. And it looks like do they have them all the way out yet? It looks like they're ready to. They're saying that someone just asked if they're ready. And this is just the moment everybody's been waiting for all day. It's been several hours they've been working to get the Manatee out of the storm drain here on Da Vinci Avenue. And like I said, Jeannie, we're told at the last update it was slightly injured. We just got a thumbs up from JFRD. It looks like they're about to lift up here.
Wow, I think they got him.
Very diligently. 4 hours. We're all about to get our first look.
And they are lifting up the Manatee now.
Got it right here. Okay. Right here.
You know, the cool thing is that manatees can live for decades. And so, without man's interference, this guy could have a long life. Let's hope that he comes out healthy and breathing. They've only talked about minor injuries, so everybody's feeling hopeful.
We have more ropes if you want to twine it.
From what I understand, Jeannie, it looks like they're trying to tie more ropes around it to help get it out. Like we heard FWC say, it is going to be a challenge. This is a challenge. This is not an easy feat, guys. And here it is.
Oh, here we go.
Up and that way. All right. Okay. Going. Tail's clear. Go ahead. Up fast. Let's bottom down. All right. Come this way. Setting down. Settle down tight. Hey, everybody sit. Don't get underneath.
Cheers and applause all around, guys. One lady just said that's not a very big manatee. She's seen bigger ones, but people are excited that it's out. And Jeannie, that's the truck we spoke of earlier. You were asking what kind of truck they were going to transport it in. That's the truck. It's like a small moving van.
I don't know if you guys think I'm nuts or not, but I got a lump in my throat when they pulled him up. I'm like cheering him on so much. Way to go.
Oh, it's moving, so that's good. It is moving. This is absolutely incredible to see.
So this manatee that's been stuck in this storm drain off Da Vinci Avenue in Ortega for at least 4 hours, probably more than that, they're not sure how long, is now out of the pipe and ready to go in the rescue truck and head down to Orlando to SeaWorld for rehab, for evaluation. There's a veterinarian there from the Jacksonville Zoo and other experts from Florida Fish and Wildlife. And you know those guys have to be excited, Brittany.
Oh, absolutely. You can see it on their faces. It's a sigh of relief, and actually to see the manatee move there is especially special for the people out watching. The kids are smiling. A lot of people are just excited that this is so far a happy ending. And as you said, we do not know how many hours the manatee was stuck in the storm drain here, but it was discovered around 8:30 this morning, and we're now well after 3:30. So it's definitely a happy ending thus far. And you can see they're lifting it up now to put it inside of. Wow, it may not be that big, but it looks definitely heavy for these guys. Look how many guys it's taking to try to lift it. And cheers all around, guys.
JFRD!
And you can hear people screaming JFRD. Folks very happy and appreciative for the work they've done here today. And you can tell how heavy it is, Jeannie, just by how many men and women it's taking to lift it onto that truck. So they're up on the lift now, and it's going up into the truck.
It's one of those things where you really want to see it until the very end.
And there's oxygen in that truck in case the manatee needs it on its trip down to Orlando, about 2.5 hours or so.
And there's a vet from Jack Zoo here, so they're going to check him out and check it out. I'm going to say it because we're still not sure yet if it's a boy or a girl. Check it out and make sure that it's stabilized and okay to take that trip down to SeaWorld. So they do have all hands on deck, as we would like to say, to make sure this is a safe trip down to SeaWorld, as well as a safe extraction here. Look at that. Wow. And Jeannie, you know, as soon as we get a chance, we're going to try to find out the sex of it. FWC has been giving us a lot of updates every half hour on where they are with it. So in that last update, we were just told that it had a couple of scrapes and cuts on its nose. So thus far, it's appeared to be in good shape, but now they'll get a very good look, an in-depth look at it to make sure that it is okay. JFRD jumping down. These guys have really worked around the clock today.
You know, with all the news going on, I tell you, this is just uplifting to watch. Look how excited that lady was. Okay, teachers, you got to think about all the manatee projects you can do at school now.
This guy right here in the red suspenders, he is covered in dirt. He really, I got to find out who that is. He really went, did everything he could. He was all in this dirt, in this hole today. He, as well as all these other guys, but they really worked hard to get this manatee out.
You know, when we were going
hours
through
there, and then look inside of the truck there, you can see a vet has its, I believe that's one of the vets. They're taking pictures of it. You can see it kind of laid out. Can you see that, Mike? You need to get a better advantage. You can see it. There's a better shot of it right there.
I can see that, yeah.
In the, you see it? You see it now? Yeah. So it looks like they're taking pictures of it and
getting some water on it. There are some scrapes there on its back. I don't know if those are propeller marks or from injuries from the storm drain or not, but they're going to make sure he's moist and just
they said it had a couple of scrapes and a couple of scratches and scrapes. Yeah, and I mean, that's to be expected if you think about something of that size being stuck in a 36-inch drain. I didn't expect it to come out uninjured, but it does have. They said that they appeared minor. Of course, we'll get a better update from them on exactly the condition of the manatee once they had a chance to look at it. But all we've been told thus far is that it had a couple of scrapes and scratches on its face, but it looks like it does have some along its body as well.
So, Brittany, I got to say, I'm so glad that you said you saw it move, because right now it's not moving, and I would have been really worried. But you've already said
it's not.
Was its tail moving or its head, or what was it? What'd you see move?
That's the head is facing towards the cabin. So the head is facing towards the cabin, towards the driver's seat. Yeah. The tail is the tail is towards us, and it was moving before they all picked it up. So We're going to see if we can grab FWC here. You see the lady shaking the guy's hand with the red hat on. That's Nadia Gordon with FWC. That's the person you guys heard from earlier giving us all the updates. So we're going to see if we can get her to come on over and tell us what's going on with it once she gets a chance. But no, I have not seen it move since they've put it inside of the truck, but it was moving earlier.
Okay, that's good to know.
We'll get down now.
You know, and as you're trying...
We're going to see if we can get Nadia Jeannie, so don't go too far.
Yeah, I'll let you pause there for a second. But, you know, I think while we were watching the rescue, you could see several men working. But now that we're getting a wider picture, you can see how many people from JFRD and from Florida Wildlife Commission. That was a big, big crew. Oh, look at that, Florida. Thank you. Please support Manatee Rescue and Research. And that phone number you see right there, they gave that number out earlier, that 888-404-3922, because they say if you ever see a manatee or anything that seems in distress, please call them. You see what they'll do. They'll come out in full force, and they will come out and do their very best to rescue.
I'm going to wrap on camera.
And that is something very encouraging to see today. And I'll tell you something. If you go on First Coast News on our Facebook page, you can see we've had more than 4,000 comments on this now, more than 1 million people reached, and the comments are really just wonderful to read. It's just something else. Now somebody else wants to name it Glenn. Somebody says it has a sweet face. Whatever it is, Brittany, you can just feel the cheers. This is good news. I'm so glad to hear some good news here.
And Jeannie, just to wrap it up for you guys, this is such a happy ending. A lot of folks have been waiting all day, just wanting and hoping that this manatee would be pulled from this hole safe. And as we all saw earlier, it was moving, and now they have loaded it up into this van that's going to take it down to Orlando. Well, it will be rehabilitated and hopefully released back into the wild. Now, it was found around 8:30 this morning. It's been several hours of very tedious process for JFRD as well as crews here. And as you can see, they are laughing. They are definitely happy about the work that was done here today. This manatee found here this morning and extracted safely. JFRD doing a fantastic, stellar job, as well as city workers and construction workers, all of them hanging out and staying by today. So what we know is that the manatee does have some minor scrapes and scratches on its head, but thus far what we've been told, there are no significant or serious injuries. We'll be sure to bring you any updates we get as they become available. For now, we're live in Ortega neighborhood. Brittany Dion, First Coast News.
All right, Brittany, thank you so much. We enjoyed walking through that with you step by step and seeing what we were hoping was going to be good news truly turn out to be good news. It is moving to see humans reach out to an innocent animal, mammal, manatee, a very important part of our ecosystem here in Florida. But there are still lots of questions to answer. And I know Brittany's going to stay on the scene and ask the experts there what happens next medically, if it's a boy or if it's a girl, what they might name it. We've got lots of nominations, like we were saying, Piper, Da Vinci, even as I was just seeing here on our Facebook page, Glenn. So we'll see what all develops. Lots will be developing still with the story. So we hope you'll join us at 5, 5:30, and 6 tonight. Now back to your regular program.
This has been a First Coast News special report. We now return to regular programming.